Yeah?
Yeah.
Can you give us your opinion of what happened here today?
Well, it's just another example of corporate protection racketeering,
Yep.
calling a public building a private building and picking on an innocent man who's trying to film in a public arena and picking on him to show an example of police brutality. So, in other words, we can only go so far as we're allowed to go, according to their approach,
That's
according
right.
to their training.
Yeah.
And what we're trying to do is to establish some kind of common ground in which we tell them, no, we can go as far as we want as long as we're in lawful, peaceful behaviour. If we are lawful, not doing anyone any harm, and being peaceful, then we can go as far as we want. Unless someone puts us on notice that we are breaching their privacy, harming them, or causing them some kind of loss or damage, we the people can do what we will. It's about the will of the people. We were here to witness a message being sent or a notice being served on the law courts, and somebody wanted to go inside to do some filming, and someone tried to grab their camera or their phone or whatever it was, and then there was an escalation of aggression and violence. Now, really, we have
As I understand it, about four police officers took him down and was quite violent with the chap.
Yes, there was an escalation of violence on the part of the police, and they basically just cornered him and surrounded him. There was some counter manoeuvres by some of the crowd to assist the man, because it was obvious that he was being picked on. And so we just have a clear example. When you ask the police what they're actually doing, what breach of the peace are they here to prevent, they can't answer. You ask them, and as I did before when we were outside the county council building, who are you serving? Who are you under oath to serve? They will not answer these questions.
No.
Now, that silence is deafening. It's a deafening admission of something very untoward. So we'll let the viewer decide and the listener decide what they're actually admitting to. If they're not prepared to admit that they are here under oath to protect the people, uphold the law, they're not even trained in law. How would they know how to uphold the law that they're not even trained in the first place?
Yes, that's a question, Darryl.
Could you tell me how they can arrest somebody in a lobby of a public building when there is no victim, there's been no crime committed?
Brilliant.
Under what pretense is that arrest been made?
Well, that's the whole point. They're operating from a rule book, from a script, which is the police handbook and the legislative laws that are really just rules for the corporations, and they're treating us like resources. If the resource, the human resource, doesn't do what it says in the rule book, then the human resource is taken off the streets. But what we're endeavouring to re-establish is the ancient natural law, which became common law, of do no harm, breach no peace, and cause no loss or damage or fraud. And if we're not doing that, then according to natural law, we cannot be touched. But we have a standoff at the moment. They're not trained. They don't know natural law. All they know is the so-called laws, which are statutory rules that they are trained in.
They're products of a system.
The products of a system. And as I had a conversation with one of the officers, we're not blaming you for your ignorance. The ignorance is instilled in you from higher above. It's a systemic problem, just as it's a systemic problem that doctors are trained to maim and kill you with remedy that they are not fully aware of the harmful effects. It's the same problem. It's a harmful agenda, a dark agenda, which is treating humans with contempt.
Absolutely.
And all we're doing here is showing up as men and women, boys and girls, to say we've had enough. We're alive. We have will. We mean no harm. We're here to establish law and order and peace, common sense and sanity. The world at the moment has got this incredible problem of mass hysteria and mass insanity. And the police stand between us and that insanity. They're protecting the insanity.
They think we're trying to change the law. We're trying to re-establish them.
Correct.
We're not trying to change it.
Yes. And we're asking them to stand with us turn their back on their paymasters, stand with us so that law, order and sanity is restored. That's all we're asking. That's it.
Even according to the statutes and regulations and acts, is it that this man was making a film in this building? Is there any legislation which says that he cannot even do that according to those statutes, acts and regulations? Is there anything you know?
No, not that I'm aware of.
They have a notice on the window, but as I'm aware of, you are allowed to take pictures and use a phone, camera, in the lobby of a public building. You can't go beyond that. You couldn't walk through their offices, the corridors, but in the lobby, that is a public space.
So that's an important thing to clarify.
People walk into police stations and do it all the time on YouTube. You know, the older people. You know, you're allowed to do it, and they've got a little notice to say you can't do it, but that's just a silly little notice. It doesn't make it law, does it?
You see, ultimately, the police think that they're here to protect elements of society that they're paid to protect. Those elements of society do not have our interests at heart, and so there's two worlds here. There's the world of humanity and sanity, and there's the world of corporate insanity. And the two worlds at the moment, there's a standoff. You've got a massive section of the people who are asleep, no idea what's going on. And so at the moment, it's a small, enlightened, awakened minority that are beginning to stand up against the tyranny, and that's why there are little episodes like this happening more and more around the country. Until more people wake up en masse, as they will do in Germany soon, because I've just had an update.
Could you actually tell the people on the camera about the update, what's happened in Germany?
Apparently in Germany, there's a Twitter going around that in Germany, car owners or people who buy cars from here on in, who are jabbed, will not get insurance on their car.
Okay.
In other words, in effect, they will not be able to drive a car in Germany if they have had the CV19 jab. So if that doesn't wake up the Germans, I don't know what will, basically.
Yeah. Would you probably put that down to a lot of people suffering blood clots and heart failure, and might actually do that steering wheel?
Yeah, there's a tidal wave of adverse reactions to the jab that no amount of covering up can now stop.
Yeah.
And the insurance companies, the actuarial companies, have known for some time from the stats, from the actuarial stats, that the excess mortality in the last year and a half has gone through the roof, and now it's going even more. It's going beyond the roof now.
Important question.
Go on, carry on.
On what you previously said. The question about what would it take to fast track or engender a quickening of the waking up of men and women acting as agents for these corporate entities, the police and public servants, to understanding what's really going on and how they're kind of caught in the middle of this. Is there anything, that awakening to see this more clearly?
It's going to have to be a realisation that the system is designed to harm. At the moment, the majority of people assume that the system is like the nanny, the protective parent, and they get benefits from it. They believe they get protection from hostile external forces. Once enough people realise that they were in effect coerced and intimidated and deceived into taking a very harmful, in fact killer injection, when enough people realise that they have got literally death flowing through their bloodstream, that will be the wake-up call, and all hell is going to break loose. For a while. It will calm down eventually. All hell will break loose. If you imagine having 10 million people who realise that their days are numbered because they've been fooled into taking a killer jab.
Absolutely.
That's what it's going to take. It's going to take the mass hysteria from the realisation that they've been conned into taking something that ultimately can and will kill many of them.
Right, thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Well,